Massachusetts State Facts for Kids. Massachusetts is a New England state that is bordered to the north by New Hampshire and Vermont, to the east by the Atlantic Ocean, to the south by Rhode Island and Connecticut, and the west by New York. The eastern coast of Massachusetts has what appears to be a large hook, but it is actually land that was uncovered by glaciers, which exposed numerous rocky coves. This hilly, damp region, known as the coastal lowland, includes Cape Cod Bay, Martha's Vineyard, and the Nantucket Islands, which are all fantastic for sailing, fishing, and vacationing. Streams and plains with rounded hills can be found in the center of the state. Mountains rise out of the ground to the west. The Taconic Mountains lie far to the west. About 12,000 years ago, as the glaciers receded and the land became accessible, people began to inhabit what is now known as Massachusetts. Some artifacts have been found in the lakes and rivers where the melting glaciers have formed. After many millennia, the Wampanoag, Mohegan, and Mohican tribes of Native Americans inhabited the area. A ship called the Mayflower carrying Pilgrim settlers docked in Cape Cod in 1620. The first permanent European settlement in New England was founded at Plymouth by refugees fleeing religious persecution in England. Soon after, the Wampanoag tribe, which is still present in Massachusetts, joined the Pilgrims for the first Thanksgiving. Massachusetts' contribution to history may be attributed to its citizens' actions during the lead-up to the Revolutionary War. During one of these events, 5 Americans were shot by British forces in the so-called Boston Massacre in 1770. Afterwards, anger against England broke out. 3 years later, to protest the heavy taxes imposed by England, colonists posing as Native Americans poured cases of tea into Boston Harbor. The Boston Tea Party has come to represent the incident. The Revolutionary War's opening battles, Lexington and Concord in 1775, marked its beginning. The silversmith known as Paul Revere made his infamous midnight trip to notify the colonists due to the progress of the British forces. On February 6, 1788, 5 years after the war's end, Massachusetts was admitted as the 6th state to the Union. Boston was established as its capital and it began to use the 2-letter abbreviation, M and A. There are currently 7 million people who are residents of the state. This makes Massachusetts making it the 16th most populated state in the Union. Massachusetts consists of 14 individual counties which spans across its 10,565 square miles, making it the second smallest state within America. The geographical highest point in the state is located in Berkshire County and is Mount Greylock, standing at 3,491 feet. Numerous crops and seafood are produced by the state's harbors and lush soil because the Bay State has more than 1,500 miles of coastline. About 25% of the cranberries consumed in the U.S. are grown locally by farmers. Some of the other major industries within the state include life sciences, finance, information technology, manufacturing, electronics, and renewable energy research and development. You can go to Plymouth Rock, a sandstone outcropping thought to mark the precise site where the Pilgrims stepped off the Mayflower. Because tourists began shipping off parts, it is now less than half the size that it was in the 1600s. Massachusetts has a dark past as well. The Salem witch trials, a series of public hearings that took place in the late 1600s, resulted in the deaths of roughly 20 people who were accused and convicted of practicing witchcraft. The first lighthouse ever built in the United States was the Boston Harbor Light Station, and it was built back in 1716. The Freedom Trail in Boston is a marked path through the city that takes history buffs to 16 Revolutionary War monuments, including the Paul Revere House, where Revere resided during the time of his illustrious nighttime journey warning the countryside, "The British are coming." The first phone call in history was made by Alexander Graham Bell in Boston on March 10, 1876. He called his assistant Thomas Watson, who was in the next room over, and said, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." The famous secondary school, simply known as Harvard, is actually the first college ever established in North America. Massachusetts is well known for its sports as well. This legacy began back in 1903 when the first Baseball World Series was held in Boston. James Naismith created the game of basketball in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891. The Basketball Hall of Fame is now also located in Springfield. William G. Morgan first invented the game of volleyball in Holyoke, Massachusetts. However, it originally was not called volleyball, but rather he coined the term for this new activity, mintonette. The official state dessert is Boston cream pie, a chocolate-iced white cake filled with custard. However, it's not the only well-known treat from the state. Toll House Restaurant in Whitman, Massachusetts is where the chocolate chip cookie was first created. But there's more. Quincy, Massachusetts is home to the first Dunkin Donuts restaurant as well. The state tree is the elm. They are rapid growth, adapted to a broad range of climates and soils, strong wood, resistant to wind damage, and have a vase-like growth habit that requires minimal pruning. The state flower is the Mayflower. The Mayflower is a symbol of hope, fertility, new beginnings, and protection. Its flowers emerge at the beginning of each spring, coming into full blossom towards the start of May, hence the name Mayflower. The state bird is the black-capped chickadee. Black-capped chickadee numbers are increasing due to large amounts of forest edge habitat, as well as nesting and feeding opportunities in backyards. Chickadees are social birds that live in flocks. The state fish is the Atlantic cod. Cod is one of the most popular food fishes in the Atlantic. They have been an important food source for native communities, including the Wampanoag of modern-day Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Historically, cod was also a favorite of European settlers as they learned to sustain themselves in North America. The state mammal is the right whale. Whalers labeled these animals right whales because they considered them the right whales to hunt. They swam slowly in coastal waters, floated when dead, and yielded large amounts of oil and baleen. Right whales had been hunted to near extinction when hunting was finally banned in 1935.
I hope you enjoy our videos. If so, please hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel.